The Instagram notification lit up my phone and my heart dropped into my stomach. There was my brother Mac, cocktail in hand, lounging on a pristine beach in the Maldives. The same brother whose medical bills I'd been told were piling up. The same reason I'd sold my beloved Honda Civic, my first major purchase, my symbol of independence, just 2 weeks ago. I'm Sarah, and this is the moment I realized my family had been playing me for a fool my entire life. "You've got to be kidding me," I whispered, scrolling through photo after photo. Infinity pools, sunset yacht cruises, champagne toasts. The timestamp showed he'd been there for the past 10 days, exactly when Mom had called me crying about his emergency appendectomy. My phone buzzed again. Mom calling. I let it ring. "Sarah?" Tegan poked her head into my cubicle. "You okay? You look like you've seen a ghost." I turned my phone screen toward her. "Remember how I told you I sold my car to help with Mac's medical bills?" She squinted at the screen, then her eyes widened. "Oh no. Oh hell no." "Oh yes." I laughed, but it came out more like a sob. "Apparently appendicitis is best treated with 5-star resorts and seafood buffets." My phone buzzed again. "Mom." Again. "Answer it," Tegan urged. "Call her out." I took a deep breath and picked up. "Hi, Mom. Sarah, honey. I've been trying to reach you all morning. How are you doing without your car? I feel just awful about—" "How's Mac's recovery going?" I cut in, my voice steady. "Oh, he's doing better. The doctor said—" "Really?" "Because his Instagram shows him doing just fine in the Maldives for the past 10 days. Silence. Then, "Sarah, sweetie, I can explain." "Save it." My voice cracked. "I sold my car, Mom, because you told me Mac needed emergency surgery, that he couldn't afford the bills, that he might lose his apartment. Well, he was very stressed at work, and you know how he gets—" "Stop." I stood up, drawing concerned looks from my coworkers. Lowering my voice, I continued. "I've been taking the bus for 2 hours each way to work. I had to cancel my gym membership to afford it. Meanwhile, he's posting photos of $1,000 champagne bottles. He needed a break, Sarah. You know how hard he works." I'm hanging up now. "Don't be dramatic, honey. Family helps family. You've always been the responsible one." "Yeah," I said. "I have been. And you've both used that against me my entire life." I ended the call and blocked her number. Tegan touched my arm. "Sarah." My phone lit up with a text from Mac. "Mom's crying. Why are you being such a bitch?" I showed Tegan the message, and she swore under her breath. "Want me to kill him? I know people." That made me laugh, a real one this time. "No, I have a better idea." I opened Instagram and commented on his latest post. "Glad to see my car money is treating you well. Hope the appendicitis cleared up nicely." Within minutes, my phone exploded with notifications. Mac's friends commenting with question marks. Mom calling from different numbers. Mac himself sending increasingly angry texts. "You're going to start a family war," Tegan warned, but she was grinning. "No," I said, gathering my things. "I'm going to end one. Can you cover for me? I need to leave early." "Where are you going?" "To the bank. I'm closing our joint account and removing myself as a co-signer on Mom's credit card. Then I'm going to look for a new apartment, one closer to work." "What about your family?" I looked at my phone, now showing a group text from Mom. "Family meeting. Tonight. Non-negotiable. They stopped being my family the moment they decided my car was worth less than Mac's vacation," I said, deleting the message. "I'm done being their ATM." As I walked to the bus stop, another notification popped up, this time from Brian in accounting. "Saw your comment on your brother's post. If you need a ride home, I'm heading your way." I stared at the message for a moment, then replied, "Thanks, but I need to learn to stand on my own 2 feet." The bus arrived, and as I climbed aboard, I felt lighter than I had in years. Sometimes losing everything is exactly what you need to find yourself. And I had a feeling this was just the beginning. The banging on my apartment door started at 7 a.m. sharp. I'd been expecting it. Mom always did have a flair for dramatic timing. "Sarah, open this door right now." Her voice carried through the thin walls, probably waking my neighbors. I turned up my coffee maker to drown out her voice and continued packing boxes. After yesterday's revelation, I'd spent the night searching for new apartments and found one closer to work. The lease was signed digitally by midnight. I know you're in there. Your car isn't— Oh. Her voice faltered, probably remembering why exactly my car wasn't in its usual spot. My phone buzzed with Tegan's text. Operation Freedom going okay? Before I could reply, Mac's voice joined Mom's. Stop being childish and open the door. I typed back. The dynamic duo showed up. Doing great, almost done packing. Walking to the door but not opening it, I called out, I'm not interested in talking. Please leave before I call the building manager. You can't just cut us off. Mom's voice cracked. We're family. Family doesn't steal from each other, I replied, taping up another box. Family doesn't lie about medical emergencies. It wasn't stealing, Mac shouted. Mom said you offered to help. Help with your supposed appendicitis, not your luxury vacation. I needed that break. You don't understand the pressure I'm under. The pressure? I yanked the door open, making them both step back. Try working 60-hour weeks to make rent. Try taking the bus at 5 a.m. because you sold your car to help your lying family. Try that kind of pressure, Mac. Mom reached for my arm. Sweetie, please. I stepped back. Don't touch me. I've already closed our joint accounts and removed myself from your credit cards. I'm moving out this weekend. This is goodbye. You can't do this to us. Mac's face reddened. Mom needs your help with the bills. Maybe you should have thought about that before spending my car money on cocktails. It wasn't your money once you gave it to us. You're right, I said quietly. It wasn't, just like I'm not your ATM anymore. My phone buzzed again. Brian this time. Need help moving? Got a truck and free time? Mom noticed my small smile at the message. Who's that? Is someone putting these ideas in your head? The only person putting ideas in my head is me. For the first time in my life, actually. But what about Christmas? Mom's voice wavered. Your brother's birthday? Family dinners? I'm sure you'll manage to guilt someone else into funding those. Mac stepped forward, his finger pointing at my face. You ungrateful little— Everything okay here? A deep voice interrupted. We all turned to see Jonas, our elderly neighbor and family friend, standing in the hallway with his arms crossed. Just fine, I said. Mom and Mac were just leaving. Jonas nodded slowly. Bethany, Mac, I think Sarah's made herself clear. Best give her some space. But she's abandoning us, Mom wailed. Like you abandoned my trust? I shot back. Or my car payment? Or the truth? Jonas stepped between us. Bethany, take Mac and go home. Sarah's an adult making adult decisions. Respect that. Mom's face crumpled, but Mac grabbed her arm. Fine. Have fun playing martyr, Sarah. Don't come crying to us when you need something. That's rich coming from you, I said, but they were already walking away. Jonas waited until they disappeared down the stairs. You okay, kiddo? Getting there. I showed him my phone with the new apartment details. Moving this weekend. He nodded approvingly. Good for you. Sometimes the hardest part of growing up is growing away. Thanks for the backup. Anytime. He turned to leave, then paused. You know, I watched you take care of them for years. Maybe it's time someone took care of you. I glanced at Brian's message, still waiting for a reply. Maybe you're right. After Jonas left, I texted Brian back. Actually, could use some help this weekend. Pizza and gratitude in exchange for truck services? His response was immediate. Deal, but I'm picking the toppings. Looking around my half-packed apartment, I felt something unfamiliar. Hope, maybe. Or freedom. For the first time in my life, the weight of family obligation wasn't pressing down on my shoulders. I sent one final text to Tegan. Operation Freedom, Phase 1 complete. Phase 2, actually living my life. Her response made me laugh. About damn time. She was right. It was about damn time. So, what made you finally snap? Brian asked, setting down another box in my new apartment. Sunlight streamed through the windows, highlighting the dust motes dancing in the air. You mean besides the luxury resort photos? I wiped sweat from my forehead. 29 years of being the responsible one, the reliable one, the one who always said yes. And now you're the one who says no. He grinned, collapsing onto my secondhand couch. It suits you. I tossed him a water bottle. Thanks again for helping. I know moving isn't exactly a fun weekend activity. Are you kidding? This is better than watching Netflix. He took a swig of water. Besides, I've wanted to talk to you properly since that day you stormed out of the office. A knock at the door interrupted whatever I was about to say. Tegan burst in, carrying Chinese takeout. Food's here. Oh, hey, Brian. Didn't know you'd still be here. I can go? He started to stand. Don't you dare, I said. You earned that food. Besides, I need witnesses in case my family shows up. Tegan set out the containers on my kitchen counter. Speaking of which, have you checked your mail? Your mom's been sending letters to the office. Yeah, I saw them. Haven't opened them. Smart, Brian said, joining us at the counter. My sister went through something similar with our dad. Sometimes distance is the only answer. I grabbed chopsticks from a box labeled kitchen stuff and passed them around. How did that work out for her? She's happier now. Dad eventually realized he couldn't manipulate her anymore and backed off. Here's hoping, I muttered, then jumped as my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Sarah, it's Mom. Please call. It's about my health. I showed the screen to Tegan, who rolled her eyes. New phone number, same old guilt trip. Delete it, Brian advised. If it's really about her health, she can tell Mac. I blocked the number, but my hands were shaking slightly. Brian noticed and touched my arm gently. Hey, you're doing the right thing. Am I? I looked between him and Tegan. Because sometimes it feels like I'm being horrible. You want horrible? Tegan pulled out her phone. Look what your brother posted yesterday. She showed me Mac's Instagram story, a photo of Mom looking sad at a restaurant captioned, "Missing my sister who abandoned us. Family should come first." That's rich, Brian scoffed. Coming from the guy who used your car money for a vacation. They're trying to paint me as the villain, I said, stabbing at my lo mein. And the worst part is, it's working. Half my relatives have already unfollowed me. Good riddance, Tegan declared. Less people to explain yourself to at Christmas. About that, I took a deep breath. I got invited to spend Christmas with my college roommate in Colorado. I think I'm going to go. That's perfect, Tegan clapped. A drama-free holiday. Plus skiing, Brian added. Much better than watching Mac open expensive gifts bought with other people's money. I laughed, then sobered. I just hope Mom's okay. Health-wise, I mean. She's fine, Tegan assured me. I saw her at the mall yesterday, shopping up a storm. Of course you did. I shook my head. Let me guess. Mac was with her? Yep. Both looked pretty healthy to me. My phone buzzed again. Another unknown number. Sarah, Mom's really sick. Don't be selfish. Call us. That's it. Brian grabbed my phone and started typing. What are you doing? He showed me the message he'd drafted. If Mom is truly ill, take her to a doctor. I'm not a medical professional or an ATM. Please stop contacting me. Send it, Tegan urged. Then block this number too. I hit send, then immediately blocked the number. You know what's weird? For the first time since selling my car, I actually feel like I can breathe. That's because you're finally living for yourself, Brian said. It looks good on you. Our eyes met over the takeout containers, and something warm flickered in my chest. Tegan cleared her throat dramatically. Well, I should head out. Early meeting tomorrow. She winked at me not so subtly. Brian, take care of our girl, okay? After she left, Brian helped me break down empty boxes. You know, he said casually, there's this great coffee shop around the corner. Maybe we could check it out sometime? When you're settled in? I smiled, thinking how different this felt from the constant drain of family obligations. I'd like that. As if on cue, another unknown number popped up on my phone. Without even reading the message, I blocked it. Look at you, Brian grinned, getting better at saying no already. And yes, I added, meeting his eyes. When it matters. I was in the middle of a presentation when Mom burst into the conference room, mascara streaking down her face. My coworkers froze, all eyes darting between us as I gripped my presentation pointer so tight my knuckles went white. "Sarah, please," she sobbed. "You have to help us." "Mrs. Sutton," my manager started, "this is a private meeting." "It's okay," I said, my voice steadier than I felt. "Give me 5 minutes." I led Mom to the break room, aware of curious eyes following us. Through the glass walls, I saw Brian stand up from his desk, concern etched on his face. I gave him a small wave. I could handle this. "You can't ignore us forever," Mom said as soon as we were alone. "We're drowning without you." "Funny how you managed just fine before I started working, before I became your personal bank." "That's not fair. We're family. Stop." I held up my hand. "Just tell me why you're here, making a scene at my workplace." She pulled out a stack of papers from her purse, bills, notices, collection letters. "Mac lost his job. The credit cards are maxed out. The bank is threatening foreclosure. And this is my problem because we need you. Just a small loan, maybe 10,000. I actually laughed. 10,000? Mom, I don't even have a car anymore, remember? But your savings are for my future, not Mac's mistakes. I glanced at the bills. Why did he lose his job? She shifted uncomfortably. He had a disagreement with his boss about vacation time. Let me guess, he took unauthorized time off for his Maldives trip? He was stressed. He needed to be an adult and face consequences for once in his life. I stood up. Just like now. You're being cruel, she whispered. This isn't the daughter I raised. No, it's not. The daughter you raised would have emptied her accounts by now, would have sacrificed everything to bail you out. Again. A knock on the break room door made us both turn. Brian stood there with Tegan. Everything okay? Tegan asked. We could hear voices. Mom's eyes narrowed. Are these the people who turned you against us? No, Mom. These are the people who helped me see how toxic you are. I moved toward the door. I have to get back to my presentation. Sarah, please, just listen. I think you should leave, Brian said firmly, before security gets involved. Mom gathered her papers, tears starting again. When did you become so heartless? When I realized my heart was the only thing I had left after you and Mac took everything else. After she left, Tegan hugged me tight. You okay? No, I admitted. But I will be. Want me to finish your presentation? She offered. I shook my head. I need to do this. Show everyone I'm professional despite that. I'll get you coffee after, Brian said. You look like you could use it. Back in the conference room, I apologized for the interruption and continued as if nothing had happened. But as I wrapped up, I overheard two colleagues whispering. Did you hear? Her brother lost everything after that luxury vacation he took with her money. Serves him right. My sister said she saw him at the mall yesterday, trying to return thousands in designer clothes. I packed up my laptop, pretending not to hear, but a small part of me felt vindicated. Karma was finally catching up. Brian was waiting by my desk. Ready for that coffee? Actually, I hesitated. Can we get something stronger? I think I need a drink. I know just the place. At the bar, after my first glass of wine, I checked my phone. 3 missed calls from Mac, 1 voicemail. You think you're so much better than us now? Mom's a mess because of you. I had to move back home because of you. I hope you're happy with yourself, you selfish. I deleted it before it finished. You know what's ironic? I told Brian. They keep saying I abandoned them, but they're the ones who never showed up for me. Not once. He reached across the table and squeezed my hand. Their loss. Yeah, I said, squeezing back. Their loss. My phone buzzed again, a text from Jonas. Saw your mother today. Don't worry about her dramatics. You're doing the right thing. I showed Brian the message and he smiled. Smart man, that Jonas. Smart enough to see what took me 29 years to figure out. Better late than never, he said, raising his glass. To boundaries, I clinked my glass against his. To boundaries, and to finally enforcing them. Jonas showed up at my door on a rainy Sunday morning, holding 2 cups of coffee and wearing a grim expression. Got a minute, kiddo? For coffee? Always. I let him in, noting how he seemed to be choosing his words carefully. What's wrong? Saw your mother yesterday, he said, settling onto my couch. At the hospital. My stomach dropped. Is she okay? Panic attack. They kept her overnight for observation. He handed me a coffee. Mac wasn't there. Apparently he was too busy trying to pawn his designer watches. I sipped my coffee to hide my trembling hands. Why are you telling me this? Because you deserve to know the truth, not the manipulated version they're spreading around. He leaned forward. Your mother's panic attack? Happened right after the bank officially started foreclosure proceedings. Let me guess. Because of Mac's spending? Partially, but mainly because she's been paying his rent, car payments, and credit card bills for months, even before your car money went to his vacation. My phone buzzed. Brian checking in. Still on for lunch? I typed back quickly. Rain check? Something came up. Sarah, Jonas said gently. I'm not telling you this to make you feel guilty. I'm telling you because you need to understand. This isn't your fault. They were drowning long before you stepped away. But if I hadn't cut them off, they would have dragged you down with them. He pulled out his phone, showing me a social media post from Mac from just last night. Him at an expensive club, bottles on the table. He posted this while your mother was in the hospital. Of course he did. I set my coffee down hard enough to slosh it. Why am I not surprised? Because you finally see them clearly. Jonas stood up, walking to my window. You know, I've known your family for 15 years. Watched you work 3 jobs in college while Mac dropped out of his 4th attempt at community college. Saw you skip vacations to help with bills while he bought designer clothes. Why didn't you say anything? Would you have listened? He turned to face me. Sometimes people need to realize things on their own. My phone buzzed again. Tegan this time. 911. Your mom's posting about being in the hospital. You okay? I should check on her, I said, half standing. Should you? Jonas raised an eyebrow. Or is that your guilt talking? Before I could answer, my phone rang. An unknown number. I answered on speaker. Sarah? Mac's voice filled the room. Mom's in the hospital and you don't even care? She could have died. From a panic attack? About money problems you caused? Oh, so this is my fault now? The foreclosure? The maxed out credit cards? The vacation you took with my car money? Yeah, Mac, it kind of is. You're unbelievable, he spat. Mom needs help with the hospital bills now. The least you could do. The least I could do is nothing, I cut in. Which is exactly what I'm going to do. Fine. I hope you can live with yourself when... Jonas took the phone. Mac? It's Jonas. Instead of guilt-tripping your sister, maybe try selling those watches you were bragging about last week. Or the designer suits. Or maybe just grow up. He hung up and blocked the number before Mac could respond. Thank you, I whispered. Don't thank me yet. He handed me back my phone. The hard part's coming. They're going to escalate. Make you look like the villain. Try to turn everyone against you. They already are. I showed him my mother's latest Facebook post. A hospital selfie with the caption, "Missing my daughter during this difficult time. Prayer warriors needed." Ah yes, the social media guilt trip. He chuckled. Your mother's specialty. My phone lit up with messages from relatives I hadn't heard from in years, all suddenly concerned about my absence. You know what's funny? I said, blocking numbers one by one. A month ago, this would have broken me. Now it just makes me angry. Good. Jonas headed for the door. Anger's better than guilt. Anger means you're healing. Jonas? I called as he opened the door. Why are you really here? He paused. Because 15 years ago, I watched a little girl give up her college fund to pay for her brother's third car. Someone should have stepped in then. I'm stepping in now. After he left, I called Brian. Rain check canceled. I could really use that lunch. Everything okay? No, I said honestly, but I'm done feeling guilty about that. I'll pick you up in 20, he said. And Sarah, I'm proud of you. 3 simple words, but they meant more than all my family's manipulative messages combined. Sometimes the family you choose is better than the family you're born into. The hospital corridor felt longer than it should have. Tegan squeezed my hand as we approached the information desk, where a nurse directed us to room 304. You don't have to do this, Tegan reminded me. I know, but I need to see for myself. We found Mom asleep, looking smaller than I remembered in the hospital bed. Mac wasn't there. Surprise, surprise. But he'd left his mark. Designer shopping bags cluttered the corner of the room. Seriously? Tegan whispered, pointing at the bags. She's in the hospital and he's still shopping? Mom's eyes fluttered open. Sarah? You came. Just to check on you, I said, staying near the door. Jonas told me what happened. The doctors say it's stress. She reached for my hand, but I didn't move closer. If you just help with some of the bills. Mom. I cut her off. I can see the shopping bags. She glanced at the corner and flushed. Your brother needed nothing in those bags. I pulled out my phone and showed her Mac's latest Instagram story. Him at a club last night, caption reading, "Can't keep a good man down." He's dealing with this in his own way, she defended. While you're in the hospital? Tegan interjected. That's cold, even for him. Don't judge him. Sarah, tell your friend to what? Point out the obvious? I stepped closer to the bed. You're in here because of panic attacks over money, while he's out partying with what's left of it. He promised to pay it back. Like he promised to pay me back for my car? A nurse appeared in the doorway. Everything okay in here? Your blood pressure's rising, Mrs. Sutton. We're leaving, I said. I just needed to see something for myself. Sarah, please. Mom grabbed my wrist. I know I made mistakes, but I'm sick. I need you. No, you need someone to enable you and Mac. That's not me anymore. As if on cue, Mac burst into the room, reeking of alcohol. Well, look who finally showed up. And look who's drunk at noon, Tegan muttered. You got something to say? Mac stepped toward her, but I moved between them. Back off, Mac. Or what? You'll abandon us again? He laughed bitterly. Too late for that, sis. Sir, the nurse intervened. If you can't calm down, I'll have to ask you to leave. It's fine, I said. We're going. Yeah, run away, Mac called after us. That's what you're good at. I stopped at the door. You know what I'm actually good at, Mac? Taking care of myself. You should try it sometime. In the hallway, my phone buzzed with a text from Brian. How's it going? Can you meet us at the corner cafe? I typed back. Need friendly faces right now. Already there, he responded. Got your favorite muffins waiting. Tegan drove us to the cafe, keeping up a steady stream of conversation to distract me. When we walked in, Brian had claimed our usual corner booth. That bad, huh? He asked, noting my expression. Worse. I collapsed into the booth. Mac showed up drunk. Mom tried to guilt-trip me about money while surrounded by shopping bags. Classic. Tegan snorted. Did you see her Facebook post? Blessed to have one child by my side during this health crisis. With a photo of Mac passed out in the hospital chair. At least she's honest about him being passed out. Brian said, sliding a chocolate muffin toward me. My phone lit up with a message from Jonas. Heard about the hospital visit. You okay? Getting there, I replied. Thanks for the heads up about her condition. Heads up about what? Brian asked. Before I could answer, the cafe door chimed. Max stumbled in. Oh, for crying out loud. Tegan stood up, but I pulled her back down. Sarah, Max slurred, drawing attention from other customers. Having a nice little coffee date while Mom suffers? You mean like your club night while she was admitted? I kept my voice level. That's different. I needed to blow off steam. Sir, a barista approached him. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Not without my sister's wallet, he sneered. Come on, Sarah, 10 grand. That's all we need to stop the foreclosure. Brian stood up. She said no, man. Walk away. Stay out of this. Mac jabbed a finger at him. This is family business. No, I said firmly, standing too. This is harassment, and if you don't leave right now, I'm calling the police. You wouldn't. I pulled out my phone. Try me. Something in my voice must have convinced him because he backed away. This isn't over. Yes, it is. I sat back down, hands shaking, but voice steady. It's been over since the Maldives. After he left, Brian took my hand. You did good. Yeah, I said, watching Max stagger down the street through the cafe window. I did. And for the first time, I actually believed it. The foreclosure notice appeared in the local paper on a Tuesday. By Wednesday morning, my phone was exploding with messages from relatives I hadn't heard from in years. Did you see this? Tegan slapped the newspaper down on my desk. Your mom's house is going up for auction next month. Before I could respond, Brian rushed over. Sarah, you need to see this. He pulled up Mac's latest Instagram post, a photo of our childhood home with the caption, Thanks to my selfish sister, we're losing everything. Family means nothing to some people. Betrayed, Nanshi toxic family. He's got some nerve, Tegan growled. My phone rang. Aunt Linda this time. I declined the call and turned to Brian. Remember that coffee date we kept postponing? Want to go now? In the middle of work? I can't be here right now. He grabbed his keys without hesitation. Let's go. At the coffee shop around the corner, I finally looked at my messages. Most were variations of, how could you let this happen? And your poor mother. But one caught my eye. From Jonas. Your mother's at my house. Mac's nowhere to be found. Thought you should know. Of course he's not there, I muttered, showing Brian the message. Probably off buying more designer clothes while Mom loses her house. Actually, Brian pulled out his phone. According to his Instagram stories, he's at some resort in Miami right now. What? I grabbed his phone. Sure enough, there was Mac, poolside with cocktails. How is he affording this? Probably with whatever's left of your car money, he said gently. My phone buzzed again, Mom calling from Jonas's phone. After a moment's hesitation, I answered on speaker. Sarah, please come to Jonas's. We need to talk. About what? How Mac's in Miami while you're losing the house? Silence then. He said it was a business trip. What business? He lost his job months ago. He's networking, she defended, looking for opportunities. With my money, I said flatly. Again. That's not fair. He's trying to scam more people, to waste more money, to avoid responsibility. Which is it, Mom? You don't understand. No, you don't understand. I hadn't meant to shout, but the words burst out. I sold my car, my independence, to help with supposed medical bills. Instead, that money funded Mac's vacation. Now he's in Miami while you're losing your house, and somehow I'm the bad guy? Sarah, put Jonas on the phone. A shuffle, then Jonas's voice. Hey, kiddo, is she really staying with you? Yeah, house's electricity got cut off yesterday. And Mac? Haven't seen him in days. Your mother keeps making excuses, but But he's living it up in Miami while she's homeless, I finished. Pretty much. I took a deep breath. Take care of her, Jonas. I can't do it anymore. After hanging up, I looked at Brian. Am I a terrible person? For refusing to enable them? No. He reached across the table. You're just finally putting yourself first. My phone lit up with a news alert. Someone had shared Mac's post to a local community page. The comments were flooding in. Isn't this the guy who took his sister's car money for a vacation? Yeah, and now he's in Miami while his mom's getting evicted. What a piece of work. Poor sister dodged a bullet getting away from this family. Look. Brian pointed to one comment from someone who worked at Mac's old company. This guy got fired for stealing company funds after blowing all his sister's money. Now he's trying to play victim? Pathetic. He stole from his company too. Karma's not just a concept. Brian smiled. It's a reality show, and your brother's the star. My phone buzzed with another message, this time from Mom's best friend. Just saw Mac's post. Don't worry, honey, we all know the truth. Your mother enabled him for years, and now they're both facing consequences. Stay strong. You know what's weird? I said, showing Brian the message. A few months ago, this would have destroyed me. Now it feels like validation. Because you're finally seeing clearly. And apparently so is everyone else. I looked at Mac's Miami photos again, then at the foreclosure notice. He's really going to let her lose everything while he parties in Miami. That's on him, Brian said firmly. Not you. My phone buzzed one final time. Tegan. Your mom's story is all over local Facebook. But plot twist, people are on your side. Even your aunts are dragging Mac in the comments. Justice is sweet. I turned my phone off and looked at Brian. Want to get out of here? I could use a walk. Lead the way. He smiled, taking my hand. As we left the coffee shop, I realized something. Sometimes the best revenge isn't getting even. It's getting away and letting karma do its job. The auction sign on Mom's front lawn cast long shadows in the setting sun. I sat in Brian's truck across the street, watching potential buyers walk through my childhood home. You sure you want to be here for this? He asked, squeezing my hand. Before I could answer, Jonas's car pulled up. Mom got out, looking smaller than ever, followed by Tegan. No sign of Mac. He's still in Miami, Tegan texted me. Your mom finally blocked his number after he asked for more money yesterday. I showed Brian the message. Guess rock bottom has a basement. Sarah? Mom's voice made me jump. She stood beside the truck, eyes red but clear. I didn't expect to see you here. Neither did I admitted, rolling down the window. I understand now, she said quietly. Why you walked away? I should have done the same with Mac years ago. Mom, no, let me finish. She straightened her shoulders. I got the final credit card statement yesterday. Do you know what Mac's last purchase was? A first-class ticket to Dubai, while I was sleeping on Jonas's couch. Classic Mac, I muttered. I'm sorry, she whispered. About your car, about everything. I know. I'm not asking for money, she added quickly. Or forgiveness. I needed you to know that you were right. And I was wrong about so many things. Jonas appeared behind her. Bethany, the realtor needs you to sign some papers. She nodded, then turned back to me. I found a small apartment. Jonas helped with the deposit. I'm going to get a job, pay my own way. Like you've been doing all along. As she walked away, Tegan came to the truck. You okay? Getting there. I watched Mom sign papers with shaking hands. Where is Mac now? According to his Instagram, trying to start a luxury lifestyle consulting business in Dubai? Tegan rolled her eyes. With what credentials, who knows? He'll find new people to scam, Brian said. But they won't be you. My phone buzzed. A notification that Mom had posted on Facebook for the first time in weeks. Today, I say goodbye to my home of 30 years. I've lost a lot recently. My house, my savings, and my son's respect. But maybe I'm also gaining something. Clarity. To my daughter Sarah, you saw the truth long before I did. I'm sorry it took losing everything to understand what you've been trying to tell me. I hope someday I can earn back your trust. For now, I'm learning to stand on my own 2 feet. Better late than never. Wow, Tegan breathed, reading over my shoulder. That's actually genuine. Yeah, I said, watching Mom hand over the keys to the realtor. It is. What now? Brian asked. I thought about my new apartment, my growing savings account, the promotion I'd gotten last week. About Brian's steady presence and Tegan's unwavering support. About Jonas's wisdom and Mom's belated but sincere awakening. Now we go home, I said. All of us. Even your mom? Tegan raised an eyebrow. I'm not ready to let her back in completely, I admitted. But maybe we can get coffee sometimes. Talk about things besides money and Mac. Speaking of Mac, Brian pointed to his latest Instagram post, a desperate plea for investors in his new venture, complete with obvious stock photos and empty promises. His karma's still playing out. Tegan grinned. Mom walked over one last time, clutching a small box. I found these while packing, she said, handing it to me through the window. Inside were photos of me as a kid, winning science fairs, graduating high school, buying my first car. No Mac in sight. You were always the strong one, she said. I just never appreciated it until now. Keep them, I said, passing the box back. For your new place. She hugged the box to her chest, tears spilling over. Thank you. As she walked to Jonas's car, Brian started the truck. Ready? I looked at my old house one last time. The auction sign swayed in the breeze, its sold sticker catching the last rays of sunlight. Yeah, I said. I'm ready. My phone buzzed with a final message from Jonas. Proud of you, kiddo. Both of you. And he was right. Mom was finally standing on her own feet. Mac was facing his consequences half a world away. And I was exactly where I needed to be. Hey, Brian said as we pulled away. Want to go car shopping this weekend? I smiled, watching my old house disappear in the rearview mirror. Actually, yeah, I think it's time. Sometimes the happy ending isn't about fixing everything. It's about finding peace with what can't be fixed and building something new from what remains.